Yeah, I feel like it's so important to learn to be out in the street painting because you're outside of the confines of your comfortable studio. But when you're in the street, you're outside, you're open to any element, rain, snow, sunshine, heat. But then you're open to people like coming and asking you to borrow your cell phone or like making fun of you because you can't carry the palette, you know, like you're outside and you're like with the community, you're with the environment, which is so important.
My name is Sita Cadeli. I go by the artist name CHELOVE or Miss CHELOVE. I started doing the graffiti arts and things like that when I was a lot younger, and then I completely stopped when I started a art and interactive design firm. Trying to make it as a creative and being completely self-taught as an entrepreneur for 13 years, it really sort of started to weigh me down. It all changed when I was invited to paint Every Day I See Something New, the mural in Adams Morgan, in 2011 with the Murals DC project. And it was just so far outside of what I had been accustomed to doing, but I loved it. So ever since then, we closed down the studio and I've just been doing the art thing full time.
My name is Federico. I go by MASPAZ. I'm a muralist here in Washington, D.C. I learned more about my past and I also get to share a little bit more about who I am with my artwork. And I think you can kind of see my indigenous Colombian background through my art. People will call me Paz. Hey, Paz, which means peace. So one day one of my friends asked me if we could make a sticker, and Paz didn't really fit in the sticker because there was still all this extra room. So I was like, why not make MASPAZ? And MASPAZ means more peace in Spanish. And it just kind of became something naturally,
Every creative knows that moment where there's a spark. And I think for some reason, this was that for me. I wanted to create something that would be visually interesting but would have a message that would kind of emerge over time. So we have a whole bunch of symbols and characters that kind of represent DC culture, local music culture, a lot of references here, style, fashion, Chuck Brown, and it was designed with the kids, elementary school kids across the street in mind. There's a message in here over time you'll see. Every day I see something new.
Recently, some of my friends were at Standing Rock working to support that issue of the Dakota Access Pipeline and trying to stop that. I feel like I should just make sure that everybody's conscious of what's going on with these pipelines and with having clean water.
So you've got some water protector characters here, very noble, but also with a lot of flavor. We also wanted to touch on some of the natural elements that you find in the area. One thing in particular are the great gardens at Bladensburg Aquatic Gardens, where we have these just tons of lotus fields or marshes. One thing that we always like to do is bring the community into the artworks and just trying to reflect, with the changing demographic of the city, also just trying to remember what the city's coming from and maybe give a voice to some of the folks that don't have a lot of voice now. So right now we're on the kind of infamous graffiti red line in Washington, D.C. Specifically, we're in the between Rhode Island Avenue and Noma stops, and we're at the site of a mural production produced in 2015 called Crossroads. Wanted to give a nod to the activities that are happening out here and just the exuberance that you see when kids are on bikes. It's just such a great feeling. Part of the content was inspired by the Art and Drama Therapy Institute. Recently moved, but was around the corner for at least a decade or so. So I wanted to give a shout out to that space with the Japanese no masks that you see here. So my mom, Sri Cadeli Kunz, was a very important figure to me. I always, in my murals, put her somewhere in a small space, and you can see her right in the name of the bike. So I always try to give back and represent Mama.
All right, so we are in Washington, D.C., over in Ivy City. About 2 days ago, We had a little paint jam with some friends to honor and memorialize a friend of ours that passed away about 2 years ago. His name is Barkley, and his graffiti name was Dabs, D-A-B-S. So behind me, you'll see a bunch of pieces that all say Dabs to kind of like memorialize him. Here we are together, all sharing our art, being made on the spot, sharing our paint, sharing our food, talking jokes, and then like most importantly, just really remembering our friend, you know, who's still with us, and expressing that in like the rawest form that we have to express ourselves. That's with like graffiti art, free art in the streets, and that's what our friend would really like. There's a lot that we throw in our dish when we're creating that helps us like get inspired, and I think community is like so much.
It's interesting because we can align ourselves with so many folks. Being artists, creative, who's sort of taking in everything that's happening around them and channeling it into something else. And we can help them create a message and create something, visual to help with whatever their cause is or their issue is, and to support that. So in many ways we are here to serve. I know we both feel that very strongly.